Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
So are you excited about this whole project? How did you become a part of this project?
So I was the creator and producer and director of the first series, and so I'm the producer, creator, director of the second series. So the series was born just at the start of the pandemic, actually, and it's one of these things that just came together by chance. When the pandemic started, I had lots of friends of mine in the industry calling me, asking me if I had any work. And this would be actors and crew who I'd worked with over the course of many years. And after about a dozen of these calls, I thought, well, if there isn't work coming, why don't I at least try and do something? And my company had a little bit of a rainy day fund, and so we were able to put this together, and we came up with this show.
Was it hard working during the pandemic?
Yes, it was stops and starts. So the first season, which was 24 days of shooting, but it took a year to shoot, simply because we were, obviously there were several levels of lockdown, so the complete lockdowns, we couldn't do anything. Then there were the sort of the semi-lockdowns, if you remember, and where only essential industries were allowed to work, and we were categorized as a essential industry, so we were able to work. And then obviously on set we had COVID officers and masks and social distancing and all of that. So it was a little bit of a slog, but it was very much worthwhile, I think.
So what can we expect from Series 2 compared to Series 1?
Well, we're bigger and better, hopefully. I mean, we're quite happy with how Series 1 did, and we've brought back probably about 50 to 60% of the characters that we had in Season 1. As you probably know, it's an anthology series, so there's no one theme going through. So we've continued some storylines, changed them a little bit around, and then have a nice, 30-40% of a new cast, and expect your favorite characters and some wonderful new ones, I hope.
When it comes to casting, how do you find the perfect cast, especially for a show like this?
So it was a very different process for the first season as opposed to the second season. So in the first season, we were on our own. So we just essentially used boards on the internet on casting sites, and then went through 3 or 4 months of going through the about 800 to 1,000 applicants we had. And we want everyone to get their fair shot. So we look at everyone. Even if it is just a picture, we want to make sure that everyone who applies, at least we give them some time to consider whether they're right or not. In the second season, we hired a wonderful casting director, Verity Norton, who has done lots of large films, and she took the process away from us gladly. And essentially the way it works is, she gets the scripts, she sees who the characters are, then she sends us a list of people that she thinks would be right, and then there's a sort of a back and forth as to whether we agree with the list or not, and then eventually a smaller list is created, and if, of course, they are very well-known actors, we simply give them offers. If it's people sort of in the beginning or beginnings of the career, then it's auditions, and we had live auditions for many of the roles.
So for anyone that's wanting to aspire to be a director and be like in this creative world, what would you say is the best advice to give someone?
Have as much luck as you can. That's probably my best advice. Seriously though, surround yourself with people who are excellent at what they do. The one thing I love about the movie or television industry is that it is truly a group effort. And you can be a great director, but if you don't have a great screenwriter or a great director of photography or a great lighting director, a gaffer, then you're only as good as your crew. So the thing is, that's what I did. I mean, I'm very lucky to know people who are excellent at the jobs that they do, and it makes my job very easy because I just don't do much. I mean, other than plan what it is that we're going to do on sort of a large scale event, but all of the operational details are left to the crew, and that's my best advice is get good people to work with.
So when it comes to actually being on the set, what would you say is the do's and don'ts for people that wanting to get into this industry?
How rude can I be?
Very.
Okay, so don't be an asshole. As I said, these are collaborative jobs. No one wants to work with people who are a lot of effort to work with. There are always people who are lovely to have around, who are pleasant, and who have a great work ethic. And so my biggest don't is, don't come and expect that you'll be a prima donna no matter what you are. As I said, I try to make sets as as unhierarchical as possible, and so everyone gets valued, and so that's the don't. So don't be an asshole. As far as the do's, this one is sort of no magic, is just work hard. Know what your task is, complete your task, communicate always if there are any issues, and don't be shy. A set is not a good place to be shy on.
With Series 2, what would you say has been the best thing about filming Series 2?
Well, because we have a bigger budget, we have a bigger crew, so it's made things much, much easier. People are not doubling on jobs anymore, so everybody has their specific task, and they're doing that, and we get longer days. So we are actually shooting less every day than we did in Series 1, and that's just pleasure, not having time pressure all the time of having to I mean, there's always time pressure on sets, but it just depends how much pressure you can withstand, and that's just been an absolute joy compared to Series 1.
Is there any little spoilers you can give us for Series 2?
Someone dies.
And then also, lastly, what can we expect from you other than this, and what else are you going to be doing in the future?
Well, yes, thanks for the question. So I am currently working on 2 projects. There's my first feature film, which is in development, and we've raised some money towards it, so that's always the tough part about doing films. And then we've optioned a series of mystery books by a well-known author. I'm afraid I can't say what that is yet, but hopefully I will be soon. And we are making a series of movies on these books, and which have become very popular over the last 3 years or so.
I'm going to play the guessing game, but I won't right now. But that sounds amazing. Mate, thank you so much for your time, and good luck for the rest of the series.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on set.